Hi all, this topic is on composite materials, the last part of fifth module. So as per your syllabus, you have what is composite materials and the classification based on the matrix and the reinforcement and its applications. Okay, so luckily you don't have the manufacture method of how each and every type is manufactured, so just know what they are and its application, okay, at the basic level. Fine. So we'll start. Composite materials. Uh, it is, if you have to define it technically, it is combination of two or more constituent materials with different physical or chemical properties which happen to remain separate and distinct on microscopic or macroscopic level within the finished structure. Okay, in other words, it's just constituents which do not dissolve or merge into each other. Okay, but what is this composite materials? Why at all we need to know about it is because it happens to possess the superior property compared to the individual property. Now, single aluminium alone, single copper alone has its own properties, but when you combine aluminium and copper together, it will have much enhanced properties, like summation of both the properties, right? So that is the reason why composite materials are increasingly applications are like, it's growing in a much bigger scale in the industrial applications today. Okay, now main composite, if I have to give certain example, is like your plywood. You might have heard about it in the domestic furnitures and all the furnitures, most of their where they use, and concrete which is used. They are all actually the examples of composite materials. Okay, now moving on to the technical part of composites, they are made up of two major things. One is called the matrix, another is called the reinforcement. Okay, now matrix means it is something which surrounds and binds together various reinforcements. Okay, now what I mean to say is combination of matrix and reinforcement is what makes the entire complete composite material. Okay, now in a layman example, if I have to tell, matrix is milk, composite, the reinforcement is sugar. You mix milk and sugar together, that finally the taste is, you have sweet milk. That means to say, milk has absorbed the sugar particles in it, and finally you have sweet milk. Okay, so in that way, matrix is something which binds everything, all the reinforcement or that the extra particles that are added onto it to make up a composite material. Okay, so that is composite material. Now the other things, like what is the role of the composite material, the general applications, all those things, again I will be putting it in the slides. Please go through. I mean, they're all self-explanatory, doesn't require much of explanation. Now, what is the role of this matrix? Okay, that is what we should know. It binds the reinforcement together. It protects the reinforcement from any mechanical or environmental attack. Mainly, it helps in distributing the loads evenly between the reinforcement material so that the entire reinforcement is subjected to the same amount of load. So it's like a media which is helping the stress to get distributed to each and every reinforcement. Okay, and what is the role of reinforcement is it carries the load and provides strength and stiffness to the composite for the entire combination. It helps the entire composite to obtain the desired property in the direction preferred. Now that is what, say when I say milk and sugar, when you're adding sugar, that sugar is making the entire milk sweet, correct? That sweetness, the taste that alters by the altered is by the sugar. So in this case, when I'm talking about reinforcement, what is that importance is that impact is on the overall composite. Okay, it's not just the matrix. So whatever the reinforcement you're going to add to the matrix is what shows the strength of the entire composite. Okay, so that is the role of matrix and reinforcement. Okay, now how can we classify the composite materials is that based on matrix and based on reinforcement. In two ways we can divide it, matrix and reinforcement. Based on matrix constituent, you have polymer matrix, metal matrix and ceramic matrix. Alright, that means the matrix is polymer, matrix is metal, matrix is ceramic. Okay, when I say polymer matrix, here the matrix is usually made up of polymer resin material, to be more precise. Okay, and then when I say metal matrix, it can be any metal for that matter, it need not be the particular one. Ceramic matrix composite, it's like any ceramic material for that matter. Okay, next is classifying it with respect to reinforcement constituent is that fiber reinforcing, particle reinforced and laminated composites. Okay, fiber reinforcement means the reinforcement is in the form of fibers, particle means they will be in the form of particles, laminated means it is basically sort of the lamination. Now what happens here is they are composed of layers, reinforcement, layers of reinforcement materials. They are held together by matrix. You have like it's a ready combination of matrix and reinforcement. Okay, layers of reinforcement held together by matrix. Now sandwich structures fall under this category. Plywood, as I told you, it's one of the laminated composite. What happens in plywood layer? They are glued together with adjacent plies having their grain at right angles to each other. That means you're not joining them together in just one way. It will be perpendicular to each other. One is parallel, one is perpendicular. One is parallel, one is perpendicular. So 90° to each other when you combine, you get plywood. So laminated composite best example is plywood. Okay, hope I made you clear on this. It's just a simple form, like what exactly this means. Okay, when you say particle reinforcement, fiber reinforcement, laminated composite, okay, these are all basic explanation which you have in the syllabus. So again, don't worry, I will be sharing the slides on that also, that the content on this which are easy to understand, but the thing is you need to know what they are. Okay, you don't have the manufacturing processes of all these composites, so follow the applications and the types of it. Okay, that also I will be sharing it on the slides. If you have any issues regarding these, please let me know. Okay, so that's it. This is the final video that I will be sharing on MSN. Okay, hope I am clear to you, and all the very best for your exam. Any issue in any of the module, if you haven't understood, please let me know. Okay, in the WhatsApp group or in any other form. Right? So thank you, and also I will be in the next whatever the attachment. Okay, that I will be sending. I will be sending the previous year question papers. Okay, and also the assignment questions, and yeah, I think those two are pending, so that I will be posting to you shortly. Okay, thank you.